Anthony Rumble Johnson has passed away at 38 years old, way too young, sending all my thoughts and prayers to his friends and to his family during this difficult time. When I think about his career, I think he had one of the most lethal punches, one of the most lethal punches of all time. His hand was as hard as concrete, and he was like a monster. But in his early career, he was at a lower weight class, and he kept on being over the weight limit. I can't remember what weight class he was in, but I can remember eventually that ended up in him being cut from the UFC. So then he decided to go back to the drawing board and become a light heavyweight to heavyweight, and then he was able to go on a run, come back to the UFC, and eventually challenge John Jones for the light heavyweight title. And I remember in that press conference, him and John Jones decided that we're going to pretend to have beef and we're going to pretend to go for each other, and obviously they were friends, but they just decide, why don't we prank Dana White? So they pretend to go for each other, and then they both started laughing, and then Dana White started laughing when he realised what was going on. And it's just things like that, things that make me stare. And it was just things like that, things that help me to relate to fighters. And when I've heard people talk about him in interviews, he always seems like a lovely guy, and an absolute underrated fighter, to be honest. And I think sometimes you can have these fighters that are just such fan favourites in terms of their style, and I think when he came back to the UFC, he definitely had a fan friendly style. So rest in peace, Anthony Rumble Johnson, an absolute legend, and sending all my thoughts and prayers to his friends and to his family during this difficult time. Please leave your respects and your memories down below, and thank you, Anthony Rumble Johnson.